Today on the Dr. Oz Show, cell phones and brain cancer, the alarming link kept secret until now.
Is this possible?
Explosive new information you can't ignore.
That is shocking to me.
5 ways to protect yourself. Then, a single mom, a struggling addict.
What she abuses may shock you.
Can a Dr. Oz intervention save her life?
You're killing yourself.
And a pint-sized prodigy with a powerful punch.
Yeah, now you got it.
Next.
Thank you very much. How are you? Welcome to the show. Please get comfortable. Today we have a warning about one of the most important devices in your life. You never leave home without it. Most of us use it at least once a day, and some of us for hours at a time. What do you think it is? It's this. Just about everyone has one. It's a cell phone. And we use them everywhere. Today we're talking about cell phones and brain cancer. And here's the question. Is there really a link? Researchers are sounding the alarm, and I want you to listen.
You wouldn't put a loaded gun to your head, but you could be doing essentially the same thing every single day without even knowing it. Over 270 million Americans may be playing Russian roulette with their cell phones. More than 21,000 adults and 1,500 children are diagnosed with brain tumors every year, some of which researchers believe may be caused by talking on a mobile phone. And now, an explosive new study that looks at decades worth of research comes to a shocking conclusion. People who use cell phones for more than 10 years are up to 30% more likely to develop brain tumors than people who rarely use them. And the cause? Scientists suspect radiofrequency radiation. Cell phones emit low levels of this form of radiation every time you use them. And it's not just your brain that may be in danger. Doctors are also concerned that in the heaviest users, cell phone radiation may even increase their risk for cancer of the salivary glands. Until recently, the level of radiation from cell phones was considered safe. But these new findings are sounding an alarm you can't ignore. The good news? You can lower your risk of exposure to radiation right now, if you know what to do.
Let's get right to those new findings. Joel Moskowitz is a research scientist who looked at all the studies. Joel, what I don't quite get is why we have so many studies that show that cell phones are fine. What was so alarming to you when you looked at these new studies?
Well, I was part of a team of researchers from South Korea and California, and we reviewed 23 studies that looked at the association between tumors and mobile phone use, and that includes cordless phones, by the way, that you have in your home or office, as well as cell phones in some of these studies. And when you look overall, you don't see any relationship between phone use and tumor risk.
Right.
However, when you partition the data, and we reanalyze the data from these studies, and you look at either the higher quality studies in terms of the methods they use, or you look at the longer term use studies, those who've used 10 years or more, you find significant increased risk of tumors among, in both of those sets of studies.
Well, I was worried about this data when it started to accumulate. I thought we should tackle it. One man and his family are convinced his cell phone caused his tumor. Take a look at this.
Alan and I have known each other since high school. We've been married for 30 years. About 8 years ago, his personality started to change drastically.
I remember my dad just always being happy. He loved his work, he loved his family, but he definitely became just a little different. No one knew what was wrong. No one ever said it could be a brain tumor.
First time I had any realization about the tumor was when I had a grand mal seizure. They said they felt they got it all, but the reality is they take out what they could see. I feel it was a death sentence. I never know when I'm going to go in to get an MRI and they're going to tell me it's grown back.
Anyone who knows my dad knows that he talks on his cell phone all the time. Since I was little, I remember we went to Mexico once and he had his secretary FedEx him his cell phone because he had forgot it.
The doctors never told me what the cause is. That's something that I had to go and explore. I use my cell phone about 2,000 minutes a month. So you take that over 20 years, I think that's like 10,000 hours. And I always had it on the right side of my head, up against my head, and tumor was on the right side. I'm very angry, frustrated, and anxious. I don't know how long I'm going to live. I'm angry that the cell phone industry didn't warn me. If they had put a warning label on, they would have saved me from what I'm going through.
The fact that he won't be here when I'm older is awful. He's my dad, he's my favorite person. Every day I have to think about, well, my dad might not be here when I'm older. Sitting at my brother's wedding, I thought about that when he was walking down the aisle, and I want him to walk me down the aisle. It's weird that cell phones could be the cause of this because I use my cell phone every day, all day, and if they are killing people, something needs to be done about it.
You okay?
Thank you.
How are you feeling, Alan?
Well, a lot better than last year when I had the diagnosis and the craniotomy. It's been a long year. I've been getting therapy, both psychotherapy, drug therapy, and it's helping. I'm getting better.
Ellie, how's the brain tumor changed the man you love?
Alan and I have known each other since we're 15, 42 years. We've been married almost 30 years. And his personality started to change probably about, I'd say, between 8 and 10 years ago, slowly. And it was, as it became closer to this ugly beast that showed itself as a grand mal seizure about 1.5 years ago, the same week as Ted Kennedy, his behavior became more and more erratic, and our lives were chaos, and it really destroyed our family life for a long time. But Alan, too, knew that something was wrong, just not how drastically wrong. Yeah. And he was willing to seek therapy and take medications for bipolar, for depression, to no avail.
Although the whole problem wasn't a midlife crisis, it was a brain tumor.
Exactly. And we didn't know that until the seizure and diagnosis.
Zach, I've heard that you're actually working in Senator Kennedy's office. Is that?
I did, and I used to work for Senator Kennedy, and it was very difficult for my father and Senator Kennedy, two of the men that I respect most in this life, to have a seizure within 1 week of each other. And I at first was sad and then a little bit angry, but now determined to let everyone here know that cell phones do cause cancer.